How would you introduce ISEMA to a student in a different faculty?
ISEMA is a student-led paper, specifically in the sustainable energy stream. So what happens is, throughout all of our classes, the professors pick their favorite or best 2 or 3 papers, and they submit it to the journal, and we all vote on it as a student collective, and then we go through and we edit these papers, and then they all get conglomerated and published in an ISEMA journal.
What does it take to be a strong editor? Give advice to students that might be interested in starting their own journals.
What I would recommend for people trying to publish their own journals is to imagine that the papers you are reviewing and editing are going to be read externally, someone outside of your industry, right? Assume you were giving the paper to someone in high school, but no background knowledge or anything. And so I'd recommend that you go through and just ensure that someone can understand what the journal is saying, because a lot of the times, as academics, we fill our papers with, academic jargon and perhaps have some assumed context that people will be reading the journals through. So I'd recommend, just ensuring as an editor that you can give the paper to someone from high school and they will understand and know what the journal says.
So what makes ISEMA stand out?
Yeah, I think ISEMA stands out because it's both student-led and student-provided. So students are writing the papers and students are also editing the papers. But not only does that give fellow students the ability to learn from those students who are writing the papers, but it also increases your communication and comfortability with each other. Right, you're not reporting to a hierarchy like a professor or someone external from the industry. You're able to talk with your fellow students, and so that probably increases your ability to give more comprehensive feedback.
And my last question for you, Cierra, would be, what does ISEMA hope to contribute to the field of sustainable energy, policy, and engineering?
Yeah, I think the founders of ISEMA had a specific vision when it came to creating ISEMA. And ISEMA is about 7 years old or so now. And I am chief and editor this year, but I am fairly new to ISEMA. Master's programs are about 2 years, so I've been involved last year and this year as chief and editor. Although the founders could probably speak more to specifically what their vision was, in my opinion, ISEMA gives young professionals, young academics, and journalists the ability to speak out and have their voices heard in such an up-and-coming industry, in such a sometimes highly confrontational industry, an industry that impacts everyone, right, with global warming and the transition to things from gas cars to electric vehicles, that kind of thing. So I think it's huge in that it gives young people voices in a way that they might not have had before.